Good morning, beloveds. It is April 7th. It is also Wednesday, which means I went to work out. And the picture should be funny. If we do something that's really interesting in the partner workout, I'll get somebody to take pictures. Oh, I got to flip the tire today. Well, not flip the tire. It's a construction tire and it weighs about 80 pounds. And I got to lift it up and then put it back down, and I was much thumpier than Tom was when Tom did it last week because he had more control when he put it back down. But it was fun. I loved it. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it, and then I was like, no, I can do this. This is awesome. So I've had a good start to my day. Hope your day is going as well. All right. It is April 7th. Our title is In the Midst of Me is the Light of My World, and I let that light shine. And the Bible quote is for his name's sake. Psalm 23:3. All right. Let's see. I accept my divine destiny. I accept that which God has planned for me. I know that there is a pattern of good for my life. This is true because the infinite. This is true because the infinite mind has arranged it this way. God acts by means of man. God knows what man should be, and I am that man whom God has made in his own image and likeness. Unto me is given the unlimited possibilities of good because the divine mind acts through me. As I live rightly, think greatly, and love largely, I am a joy to God and a blessing to man. I do this for his name's sake. I realize that to this end I was born. For this cause came I into the world, to bear witness to the truth. God is in me impelling me to right action. God in me is inspiring my mind with right idea. I live with this holy presence. I refuse to believe that I am flesh and blood subject to the whims of fate. I arise in my divine selfhood and see that God alone rules my mind and heart. The one mind thinks as me, the one love loves by means of me. I am the spiritual activity of a power which knows what it is doing, knows how to do it, and knows how to do it. In the hands of the omniscient, I rest in the full assurance of my eternal good. In the midst of me is the light of my world, and I let that light shine. It created me in order to act through me. I recognize my responsibility to do this for God today. I know that as I do it, the whole of God is backing me up, and the law of God is producing my good. My present is filled with good. My future is secure in greater good, for God is on my pathway and I cannot fail. Okay, so one of the things that I'm going to tell you is that I will always read it the way it's written first, even if I struggle a little bit sometimes. And then the next time through, I might change the language a little bit, because one of the things that we have to remember is that these books were written, 1953. This was written in 1953. This is before gender inclusive language. So the second time I go through it, I will probably use more gender inclusive language. And I will do that for me. Because I am a woman and it is hard for me to say man. Understanding that when he wrote it, he was including all people. But times have changed. The language has changed, and I would like to use it to be more gender inclusive. And that's me. That's on me. That is my choice. Just so you know that, okay? So I will change it the second time I read through it, but I will always try and read it The first time through, the way it's written. Okay. So, in the midst of me is the light of my world, and I let that light shine. The Bible quote is for his name's sake. I'd have to go back and put that in context. I mean, we all know the 23rd Psalm, but I don't remember that line. So now I'm kind of like, okay. But in the midst of me is the light of my world. In the midst of me. At the center of me. At the center of me is God. At the center of me is spirit. At the center of me is love. At the center of me is all of that. And it is what I am made up of. Just as it's the same for you. You're made up of all of that. You are made up of spirit. You are made up of love. And our one true purpose is to let that shine. Whatever that looks like. And every single person, it's gonna look different. All it means to let it shine is to be your authentic self, to be the godling that you are, to express yourself, because when you express yourself, not who society has told you is, not who culture has told you is, not who religion has told you are, but who you are, that's the goal and the purpose, and that, that's it, to be your authentic self. And then amazing things happen. Even if they're small things. In the end, once we get all the big stuff out of the way, we realize it's the small things that really matter. So, I accept my divine destiny. Wake up and say that to yourself. I accept my divine destiny. Because we all have one. We're made of divine stuff. I accept my divine destiny. I accept that which God has planned for me. Okay, that's a little weird, but what has God planned for you? To be you. There's no, you have to do this and that. All God has planned for you is to be you. And after that, you get to make the choices. I know that there is a pattern of good for my life. This is true because the infinite mind has arranged it this way. God acts by means of us. God acts by means of people. So that's why we talk about the divine pattern, the pattern of good, the divine mind. It's not the old white guy sitting in the chair with the big book saying, well, you didn't do this, and you didn't do this, and I had all of this No, it's a pattern. It's a pattern. So when you are working on your patterns, what feels good, what feels loving, what feels kind, what feels compassionate, that's your pattern. That's God's pattern for you, I should say. If your pattern is not that, then go back and look at the box. Look at the picture of the box. Who are you meant to be? You're meant to be loving, kind, compassionate. God knows what people should be, and I am that people whom God has made in God's own image and likeness. Okay? So God knows what people are. Because God made them. And God made us in God's own image. All of us. In that pattern of good, in that pattern of love, in that pattern of creativity. Unto me is given the unlimited possibilities of good because the divine mind acts through me. So the divine mind acts through each and every one of us to the degree that we accept it and allow it. As I live rightly, think greatly, and love largely, I am a joy to God and a blessing to all people. Okay? So as I live rightly, what does that mean? What does live rightly mean? It means kind, compassionate, loving to myself and to others. It means being of benefit to those around me, as well as myself. So I am absolutely supposed to be a benefit to myself, but I'm never supposed to be a benefit to myself at the expense of others. Just as I should never benefit others at the expense of myself. That's living rightly. Think greatly, and love largely. If we do all of that, then we are a joy to God and a blessing to everybody around us. I do this for his name's sake. That's from the Psalm. I realize that to this end I was born, for this cause I came into the world, to bear witness to the truth. The best way to witness your God is to live by the principles of. To be that kind, loving, compassionate person to yourself and others. If you want people to, it's like, don't tell me about your God. Show me your God. And that is what our goal is. To show you that divine light, to show you that divine love, to show you that divine compassion, to show you that divine kindness. To bear witness to the truth. God in me is impelling me into right action. God in me is inspiring my mind with right ideas. I am alive with this holy presence. I recognize, expect, and accept this divine influx of love to flow in me and to flow through me. I refuse to believe that I am flesh and blood subject to the whims of fate. See, he uses that word early on. He says, God has planned for me. And then he says, but it's not fated. It's like, yes, you have a divine destiny, but there's no fate. There's no winds of fate. It's like, you're not going to be blown about on the seas of fate. Your destiny is simply to be the godling you are and to express that love. I arise in my divine selfhood and see that God alone rules my mind and heart. The one mind thinks as me. The one love loves by means of me. I am the spiritual activity of a power which knows what it is doing and knows how to do it. Say that to yourself. Say that to yourself. Anytime you're taking on something that you're not confident about, that you don't think you are, it's like the one mind thinks as me. The one love loves by means of me. I am the spiritual activity of a power which knows what it's doing. So sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, but I know something that does. And I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there. Let's see. Because it knows what it's doing and knows how to do it. Which is why we say release. Get out of the way. Say what you want. But let Spirit figure out how to get it to you. Release the how. In the hands of the omniscient, I rest in the full assurance of my eternal good. Faith is trust plus imagination. In the midst of me is the light of my world, and I let that light shine in the midst of me. I go to that place where nothing has ever been wrong. I go to that place where I meet the unfiltered God. And I hold on to that. And that's the energy that I bring back. That's what spiritual practice is for. Spiritual practice is to go to see the light, to feel the light, to fill up on the light. And then to bring that light back and to let it shine through us. It created me in order to act through me. I recognize my responsibility to do this for God today. I know that I do it, that as I do it, the whole of God is backing me up and the law of God is producing my good. So Okay, the sentence. I recognize my responsibility to be this light. And because I recognize my responsibility and I fulfill my responsibility to be this light, then I know that all of God, all that God is backing me up. Because I'm letting all of what God is flow through me. Does it flow all at one time? Oh God, no. Because I would just, I'm mortal. This form is mortal. But I let flow through me at the time what is necessary. All right. I know that as I do it, the whole of God is backing me up and the law of God is producing my good. My present is filled with good. My future is secure in greater good. For God is on my pathway and I cannot fail. You are never walking the path by yourself. You are never walking the path by yourself. You are always walking with God. You are also always walking with other godlings. They cannot walk your path for you, but they can walk with you. You are never alone. You are never alone. All right, so our mission today, should we choose to accept it, I'm going to give you the big one. To live rightly, think greatly, and love largely. Let your light shine. Be that amazing godling that you are, and let that love flow through you. Because as it flows through you, it fills you up too. All right. It's a big mission today, but you have all of God backing you up. All of God backing you up. So, sorry, I just got distracted. My husband's on the phone in the other room. Distracted me. But, as always, I encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. Whatever that looks like. Whatever it looks like. If it's to get out and do something like lifting construction tires like I did today, or if it's taking a nap, whatever it is that you need to do to take care of yourself. I always encourage this, but I do encourage you, as always, to do something to engage your mind and your body, to drink plenty of water, to get a little sunlight if it comes out today. They're talking thunderstorms in the afternoon, so it's cloudy. But, get some fresh air. It's springtime. The trees are leafing out. They have this beautiful fresh green. The flowers are blooming. Go out and enjoy a little bit. A little bit. Look for the good. Look for the good. Because when you look for it, you'll find it. All right, beloveds. Open the windows of your soul. Allow that breath of heaven to remind you that you do live in heaven now. You live in heaven now. But it is up to us to recognize it. And you are a beloved child of God, in whom God is well pleased, always and forever. So let your light shine. Let your light shine. All right. It's Wednesday. Today is the book study, The Living of Science of Mind. If you're interested in that, please email info@creativelife.org to get that link. Reverend David should be on Facebook Live around 5 p.m. with you, and I will be back on Facebook Live around 9 tomorrow. And as always, these are archived, and I'm pretty good about getting them up daily. So you can go back and look at any of the last year. I'm missing about 2 weeks in October still on the Running Rev Ryan YouTube. So do what you need to do to take care of yourself and know that you are loved. Have a fantastic day, beloveds.